How can I get an interview for a birth certificate at Home Affairs? The short answer: you can phone their hotline, but you will probably have better luck if you get help from a non-government organization. The whole question: I have been trying to get a birth certificate for my 5-year-old son since 2019, but Home Affairs still hasn't granted me an interview. Every time I go to the office to ask if there is a problem, they say that they will phone me soon, but still nothing. My son is meant to start school next year, but I can't enroll him because he doesn't have documents. I can't even get a child support grant for him. What can I do? The long answer, as Marianne Merten noted in a Daily Maverick article on 23 October 2022, the Home Affairs disaster cuts right across society, including the learner who needs an identity document to write matric exams, widows left stranded without death certificates to access pension funds, or moms cradling newborns who need birth certificates for childcare grants. But before we get into that, let's look at the child support grant. The Legal Resources Center said in a February 2021 online article that caregivers of children without birth certificates are legally entitled to apply for a social grant in terms of Regulation 11(1) of the Regulations to the Social Assistance Act. This provision allows them to gain access to a CSG, even though they do not yet have a birth certificate, which is ordinarily required at the application stage of the grant. The problem is that SASA will terminate the grant after 3 months if you can't show them a birth certificate in that time. In terms of your son enrolling for school next year, the Makonda High Court ruled in December 2019 that no child could be prevented from attending school because they did not have a birth certificate. The court ruled that Clause 15 of the Admission Policy for Ordinary Public Schools, 1998, was unconstitutional because the Constitution says that all children living in South Africa have a right to basic education. The court directed the Department of Basic Education to admit all children without birth certificates into public schools in the Eastern Cape. The court also ordered that if the child could not produce a birth certificate, the school principal must accept an alternate proof of identity, like an affidavit or sworn statement by the parent or caregiver of the child by which the child is identified. It may be that the Department of Basic Education has not made sure that all schools understand this, but it is the law and it can be enforced. A problem that will come up later, of course, is that children cannot be enrolled in a university without a birth certificate once they have completed matric. The Constitution also guarantees the right to fairness and administrative justice, and waiting for 3 years to be granted an interview to get a late registration of birth interview is certainly not administrative justice.